Alright guys, welcome to another weekly outlook video. As always, I will be outlining what I expect to see in the coming week or weeks. I normally would start off with the dollar index, but in this video I'm going to start off with the US stock indices. So this is ES, as we can see, on the 4-hour, but I'm going to change it to the daily. It's a very simple view. I'm not sure how it's gonna play out. At this point, we're actually just stuck in a range. So normally, I would say it's not the highest probability trade idea, but I'm looking for some sort of significant low to be swept. In this case, I decided to take this low, but of course we have this one as well. I chose this one because I am paying attention to this volume imbalance right here, and I'm looking to see if price can come down to it, then bounce off from it. But we don't need this low. In my opinion, we could literally just take this one. For me, I'm looking for a significant low. On a high time frame, it may be a high time frame gap or something like that, but it doesn't really matter to me. We could even come all the way down to this 3 months fair value gap over here, the quarterly chart. We could be bearish until and up until this very point right here, which on the daily is the low down there, right? Nothing stops price action from pushing all the way down here, because I generally just want sentiment to be bearish, and I generally am looking to see everyone switch to now start being bearish, right? But then anytime we get any one of these three significant sell side liquidity levels to be finally swept, I then would switch buyers to being bullish, because at that stage sentiment is bearish, and at that stage liquidity has been taken, and at that stage smart money is ready to start taking price higher and very quickly. So ultimately, I'm looking for price to come to the all-time high and potentially 7,200 psychological level, which is somewhere up here. But I'm looking for a significant low to be taken first before we do any of that. So this is my viewpoint on S&P 500. Next up, we have Nasdaq, so that's gonna be NQ. The same idea, because they are correlated pairs. Looking to see if price can trade down into this volume imbalance, but as we just outlined on the other chart, that price could come down even up until that low, which is the 3 months or the quarterly chart fair value gap. We could take that low before pushing back up to the all-time high. That's what I'm looking for. I'm just literally looking for a sentiment shift. So yeah, we don't have that yet until we start becoming extremely bearish. And then we come over to DXY, the dollar chart. I sent this on the Telegram group at the beginning of the year, and my bias still stands the same. I'm looking to see if we can take this quarterly chart sell side liquidity. I've had it on my chart for probably about 2 years now. I mean, that's why it even has my old box colors and design and everything. But yeah, I'm looking to see if price can trade down to here. But right now, I would not be surprised if we trade back again into this fair value gap, this bearish fair value gap on the quarterly chart, right? Because yes, you could say that we tapped into the quarterly fair value gap right there with this tiny wick up into the gap, but of course we know that's probably not even enough, right? So we could see price push a little bit deeper before we see us falling off like so, right? Before we actually see sell side getting taken eventually. But we could very much see something like this, right? Like where we take liquidity properly before falling off. So short term, you could say I'm neutral to bullish, but long term, I'm definitely bearish. So that is dollar index. Of course, if you're looking at euro dollar, we could look for the opposite to happen here as well. Let me remove all these other illustrations. I'm long-term bullish, as we can see, but I would not be surprised if price trades all the way back down into this gap before pushing up. So going down to the lower time frames like the monthly time frame and the weekly, we can clearly see that we are still stuck in this sort of consolidation. Yes, we were short-term bullish. As we can see, we spiked all the way back up to that high, but ultimately we can actually very much see that this is a range. This is not a trending market, in my opinion, yet, right? So that is another reason why I would not be too surprised to see if price can fall down to this. Then we could look for buying setups back to the back to these highs, right? Like this is tapping into a higher time frame gap. Then we can continue higher. That is what I'm looking for regarding euro dollar, and of course the same goes with GU and EU. But obviously you still wait for intraday price action. You still wait for confirmations. You don't just blindly jump into sells or blindly jump into buy setups. But so far, looking at what price has done, this looks bearish in my opinion. I know everyone trades a different concept, but according to ICT's concepts, this looks bearish in my opinion up until 1.13917. We might retrace into this hourly gap, then continue lower. But of course, we will see when when the new month starts. Keep in mind, it's also a new month, so anything is expected. Expect anything. Expect a weekly tail, a weekly wick, a monthly tail, and a monthly top wick. So anything is possible. This might not come as clean as I'm illustrating it right now. It may not even work out as I'm illustrating it right now, but this is an idea to look out for. It's just an idea. This is of course a weekly bias for a reason. It's a bias. It's just my bias. I'm not a fortune teller, so I don't know the future and what could happen. But this is a potential view on euro, and of course pound. I'm currently choosing euro because it's a lot weaker than pound, but the same setups. Short term, you could look to sell to this if you are bearish as well. You could look to sell to this. My main reason for wanting to sell to that level is because it's a weekly gap. Nothing much to it, nothing fancy, or just because it's a weekly gap, right there. So if we are bullish from this point, we could return to the gap and then continue higher. It's as simple as that. But if we are even more bearish, like I said earlier, we could see price come all the way down to that quarterly gap. In this case, pound already rejected from it, right? So I don't know if this could be a sign for us to not need to come back to the quarterly gap on euro USD, right? But it could also take it. I mean, I don't know. I don't know. But short term, as I said, you could target this weekly gap. Looking at the hourly, we also have a nice bearish market maker sell model, nice bearish structure. To the downside, it's all about figuring out an entry and taking it to these relative equal lows or the initial consolidation if you're trading market maker sell models. So yeah, very clean, very straightforward viewpoint, short term and long term. This is short term, very short term, to be honest, because we could even open with a gap down and take this liquidity. And longer term, as I've already mentioned, I'm looking to see if we are extremely bearish to take it all the way down there to the quarterly time frame gaps. That is my view on ES and NQ, the dollar and dollar majors, and then we go to the commodities or the metals, right? In this case, I'm looking to see. Actually, I've been bullish on gold and silver. I've actually been trading it actively to the upside and even this fall to the downside, primarily on silver though, because it was a lot weaker for me and I saw the opportunities earlier with silver. I literally sold all the way up there, but I just never held till this low. I did not think we were going to trade all the way down to the low created in January, basically, right? It's not the low of the year. The low of the year is right there. So we might see price come all the way back down here just to create a yearly low. But yeah, I never thought we were going to get this displacement. So I fully closed out somewhere here, I believe. And yeah, we got this expansion down, which was actually a bit painful, to be honest. I know we say we try not to be emotional about the charts, but yeah, nah, it was not easy. Not going to lie. I'm not gonna lie. Let me just label this as okay, I don't know why it delayed there. 2026 low. So let's see if we reach this low at some point in the week. If we are gonna reach it, we could look to sell potentially from this 4-hourly gap. Could retrace back into it, create a lower time frame confirmation, and take it all the way down. This is a potential view for next week, but I am leaning more to short-term bearish, to honestly a consolidation profile for some weeks, because we've been very expansive from last year on silver and gold, that this sideways price action where we just seek and destroy is very possible. We could get something as messy as this come through in the next few weeks. So right now, I would be very careful with any commodity, including crude oil. We've taken a major buy-side liquidity that I've been targeting for a while. I actually took this trade as well. I used an hourly chart for an entry there. That's why my entry looks a bit weird. And yeah, we took a major buy-side liquidity all the way up there. The same goes with platinum and copper. We took the major buy-side liquidities earlier on in the year, as we can see. Ran up, cleared all the buy-side liquidity. I think we even filled the gap that was created. Yep, like there we go. We've got a massive gap. I remember July of last year. It was an evening session, I remember, that we just literally gapped down. So yeah, I was looking to see from October last year in this range to see if we're gonna break out, and you can see my little arrow right there to say that we're going to break out of the range. I never thought we were going to actually take the high properly the way we did here, but yeah, ultimately still bullish on copper, still bullish on platinum, but keep an eye out for short-term reversals, because I mean we've taken major liquidity levels. So retracing into any higher time frame gaps or things like that is reasonable to think. I mean, right here you can see we're potentially creating a quarterly gap, so it's possible and reasonable to think that we could retrace down into it before continuing higher. And that's the all-time high also, which is a very, very critical liquidity level. So yeah, that's all I have for now. If you have any questions, please do let me know. If you have any input, please let me know. I know I've been inactive on this channel, but I try to only produce the highest quality content. I don't just say things for the sake of saying things. I don't just upload videos for the sake of uploading videos. I, as you know, have been teaching on this channel for a while now, and none of it is for anything. It's not really for views or for clicks or for your money or anything. It's literally me just sharing my insight, what I think is going to happen. So yeah, that's all for now. Take care of yourselves. Enjoy the month of February. Take care of those around you, those that you love, those that you appreciate. For now, stay safe, good luck, and as always, good trading.